like to invite to the stage my co-worker, Dr. Ted Naiman. Dr. Naiman is a practicing family physician, and he has a deep passion for nutrition science and lifestyle interventions, and he's been a key driver behind this innovative approach that we are sharing with you today. So welcome to the stage, Dr. Naiman.
Great, nice work, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Eenfeldt. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ted Naiman. I'm a primary care doctor, and I've been treating clients for about 25 years now. And throughout this time, I've noticed a very consistent and concerning trend. And that's that not only have the majority of my patients steadily added body fat, but they are also progressively more insulin resistant and pre-diabetic or diabetic due to over-fatness, which is simply consuming more calories than you can easily store inside your body. This energy toxicity of overconsumption and overfatness drives the majority of chronic diseases that I see every day. The fundamental problem is really simple. We're eating more calories than we can expend, but the solution to this problem is incredibly complicated. And despite extensive efforts to try to reduce our caloric intake, almost nobody is successful when it comes to eating fewer calories. On paper, eating less calories sounds great, but in real life, it's almost impossible. The global statistics are overwhelming, and this epidemic feels hopeless. But on occasions in the clinic, I see amazing success. There's this incredible potential of effective diet and lifestyle changes. Diet and exercise actually has the power to not only manage most of the chronic conditions I see, but also reverse them. And it's this amazing potential of diet and exercise that's fueled my desire to research diet and health in a constant effort to discover practical and effective lifestyle interventions that could make a real difference in the lives of my patients. Satiety per calorie. So decades of searching for the most effective dietary strategy has culminated in this concept of satiety per calorie. And the journey to this concept is built on the shoulders of giants using thousands of critical scientific publications over decades from experts in multiple fields. The scientific research has given us properties of food that create satiety per calorie. Now, what is satiety per calorie? Humans, like all animals, eat when we're hungry and we stop when we're full. But critically, not all foods are equal in satiating power. There exists a ratio between the satiety that a food gives you and the amount of calories that food contains. And there's a very wide spectrum between higher and lower satiety per calorie foods. For a practical example of satiety per calorie, look at any human or animal that transitions from its evolutionary diet to a modern diet. Like hunter-gatherers are self-sufficient for their own food, and they don't suffer from the same overfatness that modern humans do. But when modern foods are provided, we inevitably see higher caloric intakes purely as a consequence of the ratio of satiety per calorie being lower in these modern foods. Animals in the wild are the same way. Whenever they're under human care, they inevitably eat more calories because they have a lower satiety per calorie in their food environment. So using the concept of satiety per calorie, and in partnership with Hava, we developed the satiety score, which is a simple yet powerful way to gauge the satiety level of foods per calorie on a scale of 0 to 100. This score empowers individuals to make smarter food choices based on a score constructed from 4 incredibly powerful satiety per calorie pillars: protein percent, energy density, fiber fraction, and hedonic contribution. Foods with a higher satiety score will inevitably have some combination of higher protein, higher fiber, or lower caloric density and lower hedonic reward. So the first satiety pillar is protein. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. Protein is so important because humans and animals have this protein leverage, which means that you're going to eat until you achieve enough protein, somewhat independent of the calories in your food. So it's no surprise that protein plays a very prominent role in satiety scoring. For example, this salmon and this donut have equal calories, but the salmon has 10 times the protein, and I think we all know which has higher satiety per calorie. The second pillar for satiety is energy density. Humans tend to eat the same weight and volume of food every day, kind of independent of the amount of calories in that food. So foods with a higher weight and volume for the same calories will have a significantly higher satiety score. And again, by way of example, this watermelon and this small bag of potato chips have equal calories, but the watermelon has 20 times the weight and volume, so the satiety per calorie is going to be a lot higher. Now, when it comes to carbohydrate quality, the main factor is fiber, which is the third satiety pillar. Fiber adds weight and volume, but fewer digestible calories. Fiber slows digestion, it lowers glycemic index. That's why fiber is the most important factor when it comes to carbohydrate foods. So these potato chips and these oranges have identical calories, but the oranges have 10 times more fiber. And again, I think we all know which one's going to have higher satiety per calorie. And then the last of the 4 pillars is hedonic factors. The strongest hedonic factor is the combination of high energy density carbs and fats together. Many foods in nature have protein and fat together. This gives you a fairly normal satiety per calorie. It's very difficult to overeat these natural foods. But the combination of high energy density carbs and fats together is almost never found in nature. And we usually overeat calories from these foods, even if we've already achieved a reasonable amount of satiety from the other pillars in the satiety score. So for a practical example of all this satiety stuff, let's look at baked chicken versus chicken nuggets. The chicken nuggets with added refined carbs and fats in the form of breading and oil contain more calories for the same weight and volume. And at the same time, they have less protein, which is the most satiating macronutrient. The nuggets also contain this combination of high energy density carbs and fats together that's very hedonic. It's rarely found in nature, and people will just tend to eat more. It's no surprise that the nuggets have a satiety score of 26, and the baked chicken has a satiety score of 67. And what do you think would happen to any human or animal who was exclusively fed one or the other of these foods? Now, the average person is just constantly bombarded with nutritional information. We're trapped in this battlefield of warring dietary camps. It's, Mediterranean, keto, low carb, carnivore, vegetarian. All of these groups or sides or tribes cherry-pick studies to flood us with dogmatic beliefs to the point that nutrition is indistinguishable from politics or religion. But the satiety per calorie concept punches a strong agnostic signal through the noise in today's nutritional landscape. Satiety scoring allows us to transcend all the diet debates and soar above the battlefield of polarized rigidity to this higher plane of flexibility and freedom where there are no good or bad foods, no holy foods or forbidden foods. There's just this objective spectrum of foods with higher or lower satiety per calorie. Knowledge is power, and armed with the knowledge vantage point of satiety per calorie, we can look down upon other dietary patterns and immediately recognize the positives and negatives in these other lesser diet religions. Now, understanding satiety per calorie can be complex without proper guidance. If you're not a nutritionist or a nutrition scientist, navigating this landscape can be initially a really big challenge, and that's where the Hava app plays a role. The app demystifies the science of satiety and makes it accessible and intuitive for everyone. The app translates complex nutritional data into a user-friendly visual format, simplifying the process of choosing foods that offer the highest satiety for the lowest calories. It's about empowering individuals with knowledge and practical tools to make healthier choices in a straightforward and sustainable fashion. Now, we've talked a lot now about numbers and calories, but for me as a primary care doctor, everything we're talking about is way more than just numbers and calories. It's deeply personal and impactful, and it has the power to create real change in real lives. And I've seen life-changing transformations with this kind of information in patients like Betty, a grandmother who lost 50 pounds and regained the ability to actively play with her grandchildren. Or Steve, a diabetic who lost enough weight to normalize his blood sugars and ceased taking his diabetes medications. Or Mary, a busy mom who found peace with food and gradually achieved her goal weight after years of struggling with hunger and food restrictions. Gaining the knowledge and power that allows you to take over how much you eat can radically alter the trajectory of your life and your health. So as we introduce this Hava app, I'm thrilled to share this journey with all of you. This isn't just about cutting through dietary confusion. It's about offering a clear, effective path to better health without the constraints of rigid diet labels or dogmatic diet camps. It's about enabling positive, lasting change one meal at a time. Thank you for joining me in this exciting venture towards a healthier future.